Oh, how sweet it is. Let's get into it.
Baseball stuff!
Heck yeah, Chad. We got a sweep. Let's friggin' go. I'm so fired up. But first, we got something kind of cool to talk about. Chad's got, as you can see behind him, he's got just a ton of cool Mariners stuff. He may or may not have something cool to give out to one of our guys. Chad, what do you got for us?
I actually have. This is actually a fun one. I have actually way too many of these. I have 4 of these. It's actually a Jamie Moyer signed baseball official ball Pacific Coast League PCL.
Boom.
This was when he was playing. He was in the minor leagues. I think it was for the Sacramento River Cats. I'd have to think about that. But anyways, he came through. I was a clubby on the away side, and he came through and he had one start. He was a curmudgeon, wasn't super happy. I get it. I mean, like, you're 45 plus and throwing
Still
84, and he's still getting guys out, and you got to love it, but he wasn't happy about it. But we got a Jamie Moyer signed baseball to somebody that just add in a friend, tag him. And
yeah,
you.
if you are tuning in on Twitter, this is probably what we'll get the most traction for people being able to enter into this contest. So head on over to Twitter, head up to Up West Sports, find something where you can tag a friend that's not already following us. If you're not already following us, think about it. If you like us, go ahead and follow us. Subscribe on Twitter. That's really where Twitter. Jeez Louise. Get them all.
Subscribe on pretty nice signature too. It's pretty sweet.
Subscribe on YouTube. That's where we're trying to expand our growth the most. It is completely free to do. Tag somebody that's not already following us, and then shoot me a DM on Up West, and we'll make sure that you're entered into that little giveaway that Mr. Keba or Edgar's Kutina has got going for us. On even better news, we got a sweep. How sweep it is. This is pretty freaking cool. On the road, these guys always play better on the road to start the year off. Talk to me about your thoughts on just 3 straight W's.
This is the easiest series to talk about. I mean, 2 out of 3 games finished with a 3-2 win. Close games, all of them. You love the fact that offense felt like it started clicking a little bit, even though not all the pieces are there. I felt like the bullpen started playing to their potential, right? Like, that's what we wanted. So, and obviously starting pitching was good overall. So, I mean, I was happy. And like knowing like our offense, we have a long ways to go. We have a lot of games left in the season. So I felt really good coming out of this series. Like, this is what I wanted. This was, they exceeded expectations, no doubt exceeded expectations. Got to be happy about it as a Mariners fan.
Heck yeah. And I apologize. I said 3 just because I was talking about the series. We had 4 straight wins coming off of the A's series. And got to give a shout out to my man, Kick Dirt Baseball. This guy, if you're not following this guy too, excellent with the catching stuff. He's got plenty of other stuff that he'll talk about, but catchers, this guy's a madman. This guy is a mad genius, mad scientist when it comes to breaking down catchers. He knows what's going on and who the next guy's up when it comes to catchers, and then also beyond. Love talking shop with this guy, especially as the draft rolls around. Like, the draft is my baby. That's what I pay attention. I've probably said it millions of times. I watch college baseball just as much as I watch the M's, and I'm so fired up for this year, especially at pick 24. And we'll get into it. If you haven't watched the video where I break down via the overslot draft, I'm very excited for pick 24. There's going to be at least 3 or 4 guys that are going to also add to the future of the Mariners. Aiden Robbins is one of my favorites, just to kind of, give a little hint as to who I may or may not have picked in that draft.
Gavin, I don't know anybody that's even working in professional baseball today. It's like their full-time gig that knows prospects and up and coming baseball players college baseball players as much as you do, sir. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. But
my man.
honestly, there is so many good other accounts out there as well that I follow that I get a lot of my news from. Kick Dirt Baseball is definitely one of them. But yeah, I mean, my take on this past series as well is there was a lot to love. They won some close games. Both 2 out of the 3 games were 3-2, and that's what you like to see. I believe there was a lot of come from behind victories. This is the type of baseball that's going to, pinnacle these guys as I'm trying to look at how this team could be a championship winning team. Look a little bit about the Seattle Seahawks, right? They had that first loss of the season against the Niners. They had some other kind of tough losses in there against the Buccaneers, all this other stuff, but neither here nor there. If you're a Seahawks fan or if you're even a football fan, you would understand that what the correlation that I'm trying to make is they're starting to catch a little bit of momentum. They got four straight games that they have. They got the Twins coming up. Just so excited for what we can now gather. Rob Refsnyder finally coming into his own. Gotta love that breakdown too. Like that was totally not strike 3. Gets the call, and he's like,
that at bat, like I think I'm glad you brought that up, Gav. Like I love the fact that he didn't challenge it right away. Like as a player, you're told that early in the count, you're not allowed to do it. Don't do it. Don't even think about it. You're not allowed to do it. And most players would have done it and they would have won the challenge. But Rob was told, and he's a good employee. He's told what he's told to do is what he's going to do. What you see is what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy that can hit left-handed pitching. And we saw it today, which was nice. And we saw it also from the right-hand side too, right? So I love the fact that we finally got a guy that was going through some slumps, and we knew he was going to get back to the average that says on the back of his baseball card. We gotta love that, right?
We're getting into that with a couple of our guys, right? Like Josh Naylor had a good game the other day. He was out with an injury, or we'll see kind of how long this injury lasts, or if it's just a day or two, or but yeah, we're starting to see some of these guys starting to catch a stride, starting to get into their own. The one, I guess, negative that you could potentially take away, or just, I guess, room for improvement, is the bullpen that we saw just get absolutely obliterated yesterday. But also, and Brian Wu obviously didn't have the greatest game known to man, but I kind of attribute that a little bit on, look at both sides of the ball. The Cardinals were getting tatted up as well. So I think yesterday you could just kind of chalk it up to that was just a baseball game.
That was fun to watch too.
It was fun to watch, right? Like
oh my gosh, that was so much fun.
That's a slugfest.
You got to love offense, and you got to love a lot of home runs.
You gotta I'm here for it. I just don't want it against Brian Wu. He's on my fantasy team.
Did they tie the record for most home runs, or was it just like one away, like in that stadium for one game?
In that actually, that's good.
I think it was one. I think it was one away. If I saw it, I think I
good
heard
ball knowledge, because
I think it was 8. I think it was 8, and I think they finished with 7. Right? I think it was 7.
It was 7, I believe, total. To be honest, I didn't hear it on the broadcast just because I typically, with living with my wife and kid, we have 2 TVs that are set up, and mine I got to watch on mute because we got Miss Rachel or Bluey kind of going on the other one. So we have a setup to where I'm still able to watch the game, just at the expense of the or sans audio. So I don't get to catch some of those little takes. Sometimes I'll have the the reader board going up so I can catch a little bit of the action. But yes, I am. Here we go. Kick Dirt Baseball always coming in with clutch. Cards broadcast said it was most through 3 innings, which I love. Those crazy stats where we're just breaking down 3 innings, 5 innings, nighttime games, all this other stuff. I think Alex Mayer does a phenomenal job of those off the wall stats. If you're not following him, another one. We're just throwing out follows, please. These guys have some crazy cool stuff. Great series. A little fine tunage. One big thing. I can't talk. Big thing to note: Legumina is now gone, and we get A little buyback. We got Ty Cummings, who we originally drafted in the 7th round, coming on back. Ty coming on back. He was a 7th rounder out of Campbell.
Sitting there with the dreads, just
Yeah,
in the
just
corner,
come
all
on.
smoky room.
Ty Cummings out of Campbell. He was at Campbell through some pretty cool time. Coach Hare, who's now Ohio State,
And
was
he's
there.
pitching well right now too.
He's doing well.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
he's not a high
I like,
strikeout guy.
I'm like, wait, we got something for him.
We actually got something for him. Yeah. So, and I guarantee you, Legumina is going to go to Tampa Bay and just kill it. The Rays are kind of like us. They're fine. They're good at finding the diamonds in the rough and just kind of turning them into even better players.
I almost want to say that I feel like when the Mariners DFA like a relief pitcher, another team just automatically just says like, yeah, you probably fixed them. Like
Yep.
some things that we
Get on over here, pal.
already better than what it was previously. Yeah, we'll take that again. We've seen other teams do that and it's worked out well. And you're seeing like an instance too where like Mariners going back to the well, Jerry going back to the well that does him very nicely when it comes to like later on future endeavors, having that guy that comes in like, wow, how'd you get him? Like, oh, Jerry traded for him.
I mean,
Traded back for him.
Speaking from just the touch of experience, which it's not on the same level, but sometimes, you just need a change of scenery. Experience being, I was a relief pitcher in college. Now, granted, I was a relief pitcher at New Mexico Highlands University, which is 7,000 feet up. And there's so many times where I threw a 2-seam in on the guy's hands. The guy threw a bat down because he thought he just popped it up to left field and then go over the fence. And I'm like, all right, like there's nothing more I can do about that. And then I go back to Seattle, play for the Seattle Studs, and I'd have a sub-2 ERA.
Pitching the PCL, right?
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Sometimes a guy just needs a change of scenery. And
yeah.
Legumina, this could be a good change of scenery for him. Not that he was doing terrible. Like he's doing better than I thought he was supposed to be doing this year. And he's doing better than I think he was doing last year. Just kind of had a bad outing or two and just it caught up with them. And yeah, his final stats in Seattle, I don't think are super amazing, but that's the thing with with relief pitchers is 1 or 2 bad outings can really kind of mess your ERA up, which, a lot of people look at ERA down, but if you look at the deeper analytics, I think he's going to do just fine over in Tampa Bay. But yeah, we got Ty Cummings back, and I'm excited to see what he can do. And obviously, there's familiarity with Jerry DiPoto and Camp. Like I said before, Coach Hare had a very good Campbell team. He's had a couple first rounders, Zach Neto being one of them. He's had who was it? Cedric Mullins was another Campbell guy. Coach Hare has produced some pretty good talent, and I'm excited to see what we can kind of muster up with Ty Cummings down the road. He may not be a guy you see this year. And then hot take from Kick Dirt Baseball. What do we got here? Hot take: Blas to Colorado is a bigger loss. Yeah, I actually do agree with that. I would have loved to see what Blas Castano would have done at the major league level. However, I am excited. At one point, we're going to probably see Yosver Zulueta. I'm excited to see what Zulueta can potentially do for us. To be honest, I don't know his stats right now in AAA, but just seeing what he did in spring training, seeing his pitch, what he can bring to the table, the movement on his pitches. I think there's a chance that Yosver Zulueta could do well in Seattle. However, yes, I going back to Kick Dirt's, Blas Castano in Colorado. Yeah, he may not have good stats there, but I would have loved to have him in Seattle. I completely agree right there. And then pitching in New Mexico sounds like hell. It was absolutely ridiculous. I think I had a 7 ERA, and I was actually one of the better pitchers on my team, and our team was 2 games away from going to Cary, North Carolina, which is where the Division II national championships are. So New Mexico kind of sucks. It definitely sucks. So, Chad, I guess putting a bow on this series. Anything else that you wanted to take away? Any other players that you want to shout out?
One thing that I noticed that nobody's talked about, like I'm not a social media guy. Like I wish I had the ability to just post all these things. But one thing nobody's talked about yet, and I always like kind of like just nibbling around, see what people are talking about. But Luke Rayleigh, before this series, he was a 292 average. I think he's finished this series at a 248. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe within a few points, but he struggled a little bit this series, right? He wasn't the same player. Curious, like Gav, what's your thoughts? Do you think it was just a little just early season, a little flash in the pan, or is Luke the same guy we just saw, healthy Luke, gonna start hitting nukes?
Yeah, Luke the Nuke. So he is currently down to 269. With Luke Rayleigh, I think you're going to see flashes, and I say with an S because I think there's going to be multiple. I think he's going to be a guy that slumps 1 week and he's up 1 week, or he's up for 2 weeks and he's down for 2 weeks. He's just going to have your normal slumps. And sometimes he's up for a month and he's off for a week, or sometimes he's up for a week and then off for a month. I think he's just going to be your prototypical guy that deserves everyday play, or 400 plus at bats, which you can kind of put in the realm of everyday play. I'm still very much a fan of Luke Rayleigh, and I think as the season progresses, he's going to continue being a dude for us, especially once we get into June and July. I think we're going to see Luke Rayleigh kind of be a middle of the order type of hitter, whether he's in the middle of order or not. I think he's going to be a middle of the order type of hitter, and he's going to help the Mariners win games versus the opposite. I'm still very much faithful in Luke Rayleigh, and I could be eating my words a month or two from now, but I think that Luke Rayleigh could do something.
I think the biggest thing, as long as we don't see him show up on an injury report, the day you see him show up tweaked back, knee not feeling right, then that's when you start feeling him out.
Well, and I want to get your take. What are your thoughts? Just Luke Rayleigh as a Mariner since he's been here. What are your thoughts all the way from when he got here to now? Where are you at with Luke Rayleigh? We don't need to talk about the past, but as you've seen him progress through the years of being a Mariner to where he's at now, what are your overall thoughts on Luke Rayleigh?
Well, he's just a guy that I wish could be healthy. If he was, you can say the same thing about like a Jordan Alvarez. I'm not saying like Luke Rayleigh is Jordan Alvarez, but I'm just saying like both players are very much in the same, where if they stayed healthy, you would see a lot more production from them, also helping out their team immensely. When Luke is playing right? He's playing, and he's usually playing well, seeing the ball. It's when he's not feeling well, he's got some kind of tweak, his back hasn't been right, or his oblique. I feel like he's had oblique issues in the past. So
a lot,
yeah. So it's just one of those things that's like, it just happens in baseball. I get the injuries. I hope that answers the question.
No, yeah, I agree. It's just, we're finally getting to see a little bit of consistency with the health, and you're seeing what kind of player he is. He's pretty freaking good. He's on a slump. He's on technically a slump right now, and he's still, putting up the numbers that he's putting up. And yeah,
it doesn't seem like I'm more curious. Like, is there something wrong?
Yeah,
because it's like he's been so. I'm like, I just want it to continue, because this kind of Luke is what we need in this offense. Somebody that can buoy it, right? Like last year, Polanco was that guy that was helping us in that first half offensively, and who's that guy that's going to step up if it's not Luke? Luckily, Julio recently has looked pretty darn good, though.
That's what we need. We need when we're going to expect certain guys to have slumps. And I said this at the beginning of the year too. We're going to expect Naylor, Rayleigh. We're going to expect all of our guys to have. Cal Raleigh didn't have the greatest start to the year. As those guys are not having their slumps, you need other guys to be able to. Yeah, you need other guys to fill in. Welcome to the show, baby. You need other guys to fill in, and that's when you're starting to see some of these other guys start to fill in. And we're still within a couple games of 500. I know we should have taken a game from San Diego that we just let get away from us, and we can put that in the past. Hopefully, at the end of the year, we're not looking at that hauntingly. But yeah, I wanted to switch gears a little bit to the Twins series. We're starting to close in on time here, but just previewing the Twins series. The Twins. What do we got here? We got Luis Castillo taking on Connor Prelip tomorrow. I think Prelip a junior college guy. I think he was a junior college guy. I remember him being pretty good in college, or maybe he was UNC. The name rings a bell from somewhere. And then you got Logan Gilbert taking on Joe Ryan, which that should be a great matchup. And then George Kirby taking on, kind of hot right now, Taj Bradley. What are your thoughts going into this series?
Well, that Taj Bradley matchup is going to be really nice. And as you said, that was with Logan. So I don't have it in front of me. But
that's with George Kirby. George Kirby takes on Taj Bradley. Both of them are sub-3 ERA guys right now.
No, you got to love that. I mean, like, that's going to be the best matchup of that series, right, on paper. So you got to have that highlighted, and you just got to love having a good pitcher's duel. Maybe I'm kind of – call me crazy, Gavin. You're a pitcher. You're going to tell me, no, I'm right in your stratosphere. But I love a pitcher's duel. I'm also a catcher too. I love a nice little pitcher's duel. That's where you start seeing some guys just making some people pissed off. And that's
man.
That's how they're on the ball.
I mean, if through our dark days, I still very much enjoyed a Felix Friday where you knew he was going to go out and it was going to be a 1-0, 2-1 game.
Forward to it.
And
something every 5 days.
It was electric. It was electric. I remember when I was in Pullman going to Washington State University, going across state to see John Lester take on. It was right when John Lester got traded to the A's. And John Lester, it was a Friday night matchup. John Lester took on Felix, and it was a heck of a game. I think the Mariners lost because at that point they were out of it. Trade deadline was gone and everything, and John Lester shoved as well, and it was just a great game. And then I think the next day you had Jason Hamill, who had also gotten traded, take on the Mariners, and he was kind of on top of his game, having a great year. And yeah, I love a good pitcher's duel. I'm all for this series. Joe Ryan's going to be fun to watch against Logan Gilbert, and then George Kirby with Taj Bradley, and then Connor Prelip, up and comer. He's got not a ton of innings. I believe he's got a 4.5 ERA with 6 strikeouts. So I'm assuming from beyond that, he's probably like 10 innings or less. Is my guess. So. And then you got Luis Castillo trying to make a bounce back, north of a 5 ERA, 23 strikeouts on the year. But tomorrow night, Mariners take them on at 6:40 Central Time. So that'll be 4:40 our time at Target Field in Minnesota. Minnesota Twins are 12-16. Mariners are 14-15. Should be a good series. This is where you can kind of run with the money a little bit. If you could take 2 out of 3 from the Twins, you got some what they call momentum. You know what I mean?
Little big
Mo, kind of taking your foe.
Gavin, I want to try to sell this a little bit better.
Sell it.
So Jamie Moyer, we have a nice little baseball here. We're looking for more followers on YouTube. If you could just tag somebody here, that if you're just listening in, whatever channel, just tag them. They're not a follower today. They like, if it's not Mariners baseball per se, they like Washington State Cougar football. I don't know. Or
we got Cougs.
CL Seahawks. We have that. Gavin, talk about it.
We got Cougs. We got Hawks. We got Mariners, and we got Kraken that we've all
send it to you. We'll send this Jamie Moyer signed baseball PCL Pacific Coast League in 2012. One of his last starts in minor league baseball, one of his probably last professional autographs here.
Guys,
if you just got to tag.
Guys, ladies, anybody out there watching, if you want it, you know where to find us. For Gavin Heights, this is Up West Sports. That's what I was about to say. For Up West Sports, this is Gavin. That's Chad. Just remember, life's too short. Gas up your boys. We're going to be talking all sports, all them Seattle sports. Tune in. We love you.
Is that